Good morning from Seattle, and good afternoon to the rest of the country leading into this Memorial Day weekend. We're continuing our run through 45 chapters of legal blogging, basically an outline of a book that I came up with back in November. And with good fortune, maybe we'll get this transcribed and get it into a book format. It was actually a law firm that asked me, or a lawyer that asked me in a large law firm, is there a book, on legal blogging, et cetera? And I really said, unfortunately, I didn't really know of anyone that did it in a pretty good fashion that would be overly helpful. So, we'll take a stab at it with this. I'm wearing a Detroit Tigers hat today to really honor the people in Michigan. First they're hit with a once every 200 years, pandemic. And then 10,000 people in Michigan, because of multiple dam breaks, are told to, forget the shelter and home and get the heck out of their homes ASAP. So they have nowhere to go. So 10,000 people in Michigan now, no homes, scared of the pandemic, scared to stand next to somebody, have no resources, and their homes are destroyed coming into Memorial Day weekend. So it's really something to think about when we have to appreciate what we have in the middle of all of this going on. So there's people that it's not fun to sit inside and be social sheltered, but it's darn little compared to what other people are suffering with loss of lives, loss of family members, people in hospital, people sick, and now you've got people running for their lives literally as their homes are destroyed and had little to begin with, before that. Today's chapter is on a blog's relationship to a practice group or a practice area of the law, because that seems to be where people start, or where firms start. We have a practice area and we want to have a blog, and sometimes there's not a lot of thought into it. It can be, why do we have a blog? Because somebody in the practice group thinks we should have a blog. Somebody in the practice group thinks that a competitive law firm has a blog. Somebody in the law firm thinks that if we don't have a blog, we won't be able to compete with those firms as far as lateral hires or whatever. There's all different wandering ideas. Next thing you know, it's handed over to somebody in business development or marketing, and they have to make certain that what they might call these clowns now that want to blog and may not know a whole lot about blogging, you're up for really having a blog. So they have to vet the process as far as it's concerned. That doesn't mean that practice area and group blogs, can't be appropriate. I just wanted to discuss, a couple points in regard to them. Probably can't see all this, but, one is just, are you doing it for just general inertia? We have to have one. The health law group in our firm has a blog. We're the intellectual property group or the privacy group. Then we should have a blog too. Nobody really gives any thought to the goals other than we should have a blog. And the goals that you should get really clear again with a blog. Write them down. What is the goal? Because at the end of 6 months or the end of a year, you want to be thinking if you're moving towards that goal or you just never even thought of a goal. And if the goal is to have a blog, that's a really silly goal. It's not like getting a car and say, why did I need a car? Because I needed a car. Why'd you buy a red car? Because I liked a red car. You might have actually broke it down, so I need to drive the kids to school, or I thought I'd like to go on vacation in the car, or I'd like to get to work in a car. Those are goals, and so you should have goals. Maybe it's to update clients, and that's okay. If it just demonstrated to clients that you were staying abreast of areas of law for which they hired you and paid you, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Your best work is going to come from existing clients. If you can keep all of your existing clients and expand the work that you're getting from those clients, you win. You win, unless you're a new firm that's starting from zero. But relationships are everything. And so updating clients with relevant information in a way that they appreciate it, in a business conversational tone, not like in a brief, that's very valuable to them. And it demonstrates that you care. And people would like to think that the people that they're paying care about them. And this is one way that you can do so. And you don't have to wait for them to subscribe to the blog. You can drop them a note and say, my partner just did a blog piece on such and such. I was thinking of you when I read it because we worked on this type of case last year, or you work on these type of matters. I thought you'd be interested in it. Whether they read that post or not doesn't matter. The fact that you sent it to them and were thinking about them when you sent it is everything. And that's how to use the blog, as opposed to expecting people to subscribe to email updates and just push everything at them and expect them to read them. Maybe it's to ease the burden of having a blog. Maybe somebody wants to have a blog, but you're a little bit afraid that they won't maintain it, so you want to split the burden. Now, the problem with that is it might not just ease the burden for the one person, it might become a tremendous burden from the other person that didn't want to blog at all. They just went along with the group and said, okay, we're going to have a blog. I guess I got to write a post every 8 weeks, and they go home and complain to their husband, I can't believe we have a blog. I got to write this thing tonight or over the weekend, and now I can't do the stuff I want to do. I don't know why we have a blog. There's not a lot of passion and enthusiasm for that blog from that person, and it'll probably show over time. It'll definitely come back into the practice group, and sour things. It's not that person is trying to do that. They just don't enjoy that type of thing. Other people might enjoy blogging, other people may not. So trying to ease the burden by splitting up the load and having an editorial calendar. And people get very proud of editorial calendars. Now, if they work, that's great. I'd rather not have an editorial calendar for a group and watch the enthusiasm break loose for what they're doing on the blog and doing it in a way that is developing business. But it can ease the burden. Can it demonstrate group expertise? Sure, it can. Because if you have a particular expertise in an area, this is a way to make it transparent, make it authentic, and get it out there to people in a real way that people can taste it and see it. And so it might be no different than them just knowing that you have a blog on that subject. Nothing wrong with that. That might be used for hiring. It might be used for business retention. It might be used for going and getting new clients. All of those type of things. I would question, having a group blog as to whether you are looking to the future or you're looking to the status quo. Because if we divide all the practice areas down, we have these channels on lexblog.com that I think are marginal in their use at best, because all it's doing is saying, here's where a whole lot of blogs are in a subject. So we lump the administrative ones over here and the health law ones over here, even though some of them may cover some niches inside of there. And ultimately, machines will be able to deliver that information in ways or segregate the information in ways that will be more meaningful. But I would be looking to the future. So if you're a health law practice group, maybe the health law practice group wants to publish a blog not on health law, but on some really niche issue inside of it. Maybe it's particular, type of procedure that's arising out of treating, the COVID virus. It could be anything. It could be the type of, practice and procedures or anything in relating to the pandemic right now. The type of licensing of equipment, the type of doctors that are being used, the type of issues that arise that overlap with legal. That's pretty cool to basically say that our law firm, practice group, is now publishing a blog on this issue. That's worth more than a health law blog that then covers those issues. People get very afraid to go after niches. They go, oh my God, they won't know all the other things we do for health law. Well, the problem with that is there's 200 other health law blogs out there from large firms, and there's another 500 from medium and smaller firms. So you got 700 blogs on health law. It's kind of hard to break out. If you look to the future, not only do you might get readership and attention for your lawyers in the blog, but you might pick up work because you're demonstrating your expertise and you're going to get known. There's no way that anybody's going to say in the middle of this pandemic, do you know that firm has got a really good health law blog? It might happen, but pretty slim. Now, did you know that they have a blog on legal procurement issues for testing machines for healthcare institutions in the United States and overseas? That might be interesting. And all you need to do is cover that issue, and that would be published by the practice group such and such from the law firm. And that can get very exciting because you'll be the only ones covering that type of issue. So I'd think about looking to the future. I would also be looking at revenue growth. I don't think that law firms tie their blogs to revenue growth in most cases. Now, if you look at, there's a video from Mark Silo, who is the chairman at Fox Rothschild. And, he was on Bloomberg, and they asked him, my God, you have all these blogs. You have like 35 or 40 blogs. What's the deal? And he said that, he was old enough to be amazed at the sheer traffic of the blogs, but more so by the revenue that the blogs generated. So if you're blogging at Fox Rothschild, they're looking at the revenue line of the lawyers that are blogging. It's being tied to the blogging. How many firms do that? They might be more interested in traffic and buying a stats package to see how much traffic comes and who looks at the blog. I would rather know what the revenue is from a junior partner that is blogging, and it started here at $1 million and now it's gone up to $2.5 million because of the blog and the relationships they're building and the reputation they're building, than a jump in traffic. So I would tie the practice group blogs to revenue, and I wouldn't let any group start a blog unless they're committed to saying that they're going to derive new revenue, whether as a group or individuals. And it might be an individual, because the individual is going to build the relationship that's going to bring the work into the group. So if you have 25 people in the group or 50 people in the group, there might only be 3 or 4 that are going to be the principal rainmakers for that group. So how is this blog going to allow that revenue to grow? Or maybe it's somebody that is not a revenue builder, but now can be, because they can understand how to build relationships through a blog. So you've got to tie it to revenue growth. Those are the points I'd be thinking about into a practice area blogs. Now, there's a lot of them at LexBlog, and there's some very good ones at LexBlog. You've got Fox Rothschild, which has a lot of blogs. Theirs tend to be smaller, though. They tend not to be in practice group. You might have 2 or 3 lawyers. Shepherd Mullen also probably has smaller numbers on the blogs, even though they might have 35 or 40 blogs. There's other firms that might have broader numbers, on the blogs. Proskauer may have broader numbers. They're great publications because you've got insight and commentary coming from people, and then you've got to use that blog in ways that it becomes currency to relationships through, whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter, Facebook, emails out to potential clients, that type of thing. So practice groups can be a great way to blog. I'm just highlighting some things that you really want to be thinking about when you're doing the practice group blog that I'm not sure that most firms actually think about. Last thing I want to mention is the Blog for Good campaign, which is more than just an idea. It's underway. Blog for Good gives every lawyer in this country, and we'll expand it overseas, the opportunity to care and contribute insight and commentary on legal issues that are impacting people as a result of the pandemic. And people means, consumers, small business people, corporations, their in-house counsel, government agencies, and other lawyers and other legal professionals. So many people looking for legal insight. And they can go to Google and type it in and get some general information from people. They might find an article, but it's simply not as good as that can come from inside a lawyer's head that already has a passion for that area of the law, or maybe wants to develop, is passionate about an area and wants to develop that area of law. And the way they can do so is through blogging, because more legal insight is coming out through legal blogs than any other medium by far. It's not even close as far as the amount of information that's coming out. So if you want to blog, let us know. All you got to do is go to publishing.lexblog.com, publishing.lexblog.com, fill out the form, say I want to start blogging. You'll get set up on the same type of blog that I have. Mobile blog, turnkey solution from LexBlog, covers everything under the sun that you'll ever need, with free ongoing support. If you're a member of a participating association like the New York City Bar, you get it free till the end of the year. After that, it's $39.99 a month, and you can get it for $39.99 a month starting now if you're any lawyer. And those things would have gone for $200 a month plus certain setup fees before then. So it's a good deal to get going. And then what does that mean? You'll be showcased across Lex blog, the blog will be showcased, you'll be showcased with a profile, blog will be showcased, your firm will be showcased, and then the information will be syndicated out to other places. So if you're a member of the Illinois Bar, boom, it's automatically going to go out to Illinois Law Lawyer Today, and that's going to showcase the insight and commentary for people in Illinois with your profile, the blog's profile, your firm's profile, all cost you nothing. You're a member of the New York City Bar, boom, it goes out to the New York City Bar instantaneously so they can feed it into their environment with original publishing. And there's a number of other bars that are already participating. There's Texas, there's Wisconsin, Illinois, Arizona, and I got a great team. And my team is already building out of these portals, if you will, for each state. That's my dog squeaking the ball that I have no idea how he got it after I put it up on the shelf to make sure he couldn't get it while I'm on, but somehow he did. And we're building the portals ahead of time, and we're contacting the states because we're getting them done. We're telling them we don't want to be remiss and letting them have the opportunity to get on right away and participate. And then we're doing that with the firms as well. So already Shepard Mullen, Proskauer's jumped on board. Shepard Mullen has basically a digital publication on our portal product that allows them to aggregate all of their content on all of their blogs. And then they have a publication relating just to the pandemic, the virus, which is pretty cool because rather than somebody trying to figure out where all this content is on 30-some blogs, boom, it all comes into one place so everybody can see it. And it's not just for clients, it's for the lawyers that are being contacted by people. They don't even know what they have as far as resources in the firm when you might have 1,000 lawyers. Now all you got to do is key in there, do a search, find out that you're in Shanghai and there's a lawyer in DC that's already written a piece on this that you can get a hold of. And that's really neat, and Proskauer's probably going to be building theirs out into more of a, even a media center to have multimedia coming into this thing, all based on a WordPress platform that my team has put together. So, lawyer, jump on board. If you're in a participating association, it's going to be free. If you're not in a participating association, it's only $39.99 a month, and you'll get all the support and everything that we provide you. If you're a law firm and you want to showcase what's out there, we're going to eventually get in touch with you anyway because you have multiple blogs and we'll build yours in advance. If you're a bar association, we may have already built yours, and we'll be in touch with you so that you can showcase what the lawyers are doing in your state to care for the people that are facing legal issues as a result of the virus and the pandemic. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.